What do you think? It's the upper chamber. They're all going to just go to the airport tonight and go home, right?
Of course not. No, look, I mean, this is so much of what happens in the Senate is about who's in the majority and what they put on the calendar. The calendar is then dictated about by events, life events. You referenced Senator Gallego's wife had an emergency appendectomy. Life will overtake the political control. Yes, and we wish her a fast and good recovery to the Gallego family. But life events do overtake what is possible for these legislative majorities, and they're both so narrow in both the House and the Senate, and they've got a major to-do list to resolve. So it all comes down to the slimmest of margins for these major decisions. But this is how the Senate works. They will get more done in a 10-day period of time than they've gotten done over the last 4 months. But that also cleans out the barn, and they can come back in the fall and have a more methodical approach to the September 30th government funding deadline by clearing the continuing resolution now. So some of this is making life better in the fall, but much of it is about cleaning up what has been left undone over the last few months.
I must correct myself because apparently Senator Gallego is not planning on missing the Blanche vote specifically after warning he might have to miss some votes and have attendance issues in the Senate. He says, I will not be missing the vote on Blanche. So I guess now if you're in Senate leadership, you're really hoping that Bill Cassidy and Lisa Murkowski do ultimately decide to vote yes for this nominee. That issue obviously is a pressing one, Mr. Chairman, but I wonder in terms of what realistically, if they get punted into September, the Senate is still going to be able to take up with the midterms that close. If the Clarity Act, in your mind, ultimately will die if it isn't actioned this week.
Well, I think what they want to have is the vote to get on the bill, the first vote to bring up the bill, and it's the first test of where the Senate majority lies or lack of majority. You need 60 votes to pass major pieces of policy. So this would be a test vote to suss out where senators stand before leaving for the August recess. I think that is a helpful thing for closing out the big gaps of policy that these senators may think need to be addressed. But without the votes necessary, you can't see how serious negotiators are and how serious you have to take their threats. So I think that'll be helpful to close this thing out. It may be September, but it may be the end of the year post-election before the Clarity Act is finally resolved. Time will tell. But this test vote is the beginning of that ending point of Senate action.
So you're not giving up, it sounds like, on these. If everybody goes home, I mean, could this be a productive lame duck session? I'm not fooling. Maybe this gives lawmakers the clear to vote on things they wouldn't now.
Look, I served for 20 years in the Congress, and my first couple of years, I thought lame ducks were going to be super exciting, super interesting, and then I became very cynical of lame ducks. They're called lame ducks for a reason. It is a courteous way of saying a nearly dead duck, a dying duck. So this was much friendlier terminology than what we would say now on X in our debates now. I typically think lame ducks are really lame. There's all this great hype and hope. They're going to deal with tax policy they haven't dealt with over the previous 2 years or 4 years or 10 years. Government funding, they're going to do it in a methodical way. It's going to be very thoughtful this time, not chaotic like in the past. The only thing you can really depend upon with congressional action before the end of the year is the National Defense Authorization Act. And that, too, you have this grand hope that it could be this major package where you could encompass all this additional policy. But at the end of the day, it usually becomes pretty narrow. So I think great hopes for a lame duck are usually misguided. But I do think because things are so close on clarity that you do have a short list of issues remaining. Those that are actively engaged in this on the Democratic side have a list of no more than 3 or 4 issues that can be resolved ethics being the most politically sensitive, the most politically potent one. And Senator Tillis and Senator Gallego have worked really dutifully here to figure out a landing spot for enough senators to get to yes. And so we'll see if that can come together this week or what it tees up for the fall. But I'm optimistic that it eventually gets resolved before the end of this Congress.
Well, ethics in focus when it comes to clarity, ethics also in focus in your former chamber, Mr. Chairman, as the Ethics Committee obviously not only published its investigation into your former colleague from North Carolina, Chuck Edwards, in which it suggested that he engaged in unethical behavior in the way he treated some female staffers, hence why he is no longer running for re-election. They recommended his censure. They also have opened an investigation into Congressman Max Miller of Ohio as he faces allegations, which he denies, of domestic and child abuse. He maintains that he is going to stay not only in Congress, but continue his bid for another term. And I wonder from the outside looking in what you make of not only his situation, but the way in which leadership has handled it.
Well, the first thing is you have to have a really, for leadership of both parties, you have to have real lines in the sand, and you have to be able to call that out clearly. And unfortunately, with narrow majorities in the House, there are political ramifications for having a high standard of ethics and ethics in the House of Representatives and what it does to your political party's brand. In the case of my colleague and neighboring district, Chuck Edwards in North Carolina, the Ethics Committee worked. The process worked. They took the accusation seriously. They investigated. They recommended a censure, which required a bipartisan vote of the Ethics Committee in an election year. That process worked very clearly. And Congressman Edwards did the right thing and quit the race. He should resign based off the serious allegations. The censure motion should be significant enough for him to return home to North Carolina and do the repair work in his personal life. When it comes to Congressman Miller, you have a nasty divorce between the daughter of the Republican senator and a Republican member of Congress from both states. They're fighting this out in the press. It is a very sad, horrible story of a family dispute and major allegations of domestic violence, abuse, and everything else that's been now argued out on X and in the public sphere. This is an unfortunate thing for the families involved, the people involved here, and that too, the Ethics Committee needs to do its will and investigate these and see what the facts are in this domestic, in this he said, she said, the father-in-law said, the senator, the congressman fight. It's a horrible thing. Played out writ large. It's a really sad situation to follow.
Yeah, this is an ugly one.
It is.
Mr. Chairman, could both of these seats flip as a result?
Yes. Both are highly competitive Republican seats. In the case of North Carolina's 11th congressional district, they will replace Congressman Edwards. The committee process, there's clear law and a legal process in North Carolina for the replacement of somebody this late in the game, an election year. The Republican Party, the 11th district, will meet and replace Congressman Edwards on the ballot. I think that takes this seat back into the Republican column. We'll see what happens in Ohio. I don't have the same granular details there, but these are both highly competitive districts in a highly competitive year that benefits the Democratic Party. So tough thing for Republicans to watch. But a huge opportunity for the Democratic Party to pick up these seats.